Excellent, and we have Andy Brewer. And good evening. Today is May 9th. You need to come up here for the roll call, but I appreciate that. Good evening. Today is May 9th, 2022. This is the Mayor and Common Council, Borough of Flemington. We are meeting at 6:30 to go into executive session. This meeting is called to the pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of May 9th, 2022 was included in a list of meetings notice sent to the Hunterdon County Democrat and Courier News on January 5th, 2022. Posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall on that date and has remained continuously posted as required. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the Borough of the Office Clerk. Sally, if you take the roll call.
Mayor Driver,
Here.
Ms. Hand,
Here.
Mr. Johnston. He's not here. Mr. Long,
Here.
Mr. Parker,
Here.
Ms. Rossetti,
Here.
Ms. Tilly.
Here. Great, and we have our redevelopment attorney, Andrew Brewer, and our borough attorney, Tara St. Angelo. Tara, it's nice to see you again. We will be going into executive session on resolution 2022-126, entering into executive session for the purpose of obtaining legal advice regarding the Courthouse Square project, the Liberty Village project, possible negotiations on land acquisitions, and a personnel matter. And make note that Malik has arrived at 6:32, Sally.
Yep.
And once he's in and settled, we'll go ahead and if we could have a motion. Go to executive session.
Okay, Ms. Hand,
Yes.
Mr. Johnston, we're voting on going into executive session.
Okay, yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rossetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go into executive session, stop the recordings.
And before you stop everything, I do want to make note that on the personnel matter, action will be taken. And no other action on the other topics. Well, no, that's not true. Liberty Village project will have action taken as well. Now you can do it.
Okay, all right, gonna stop things then. Okay, we're back open.
Anyone out there?
I heard somebody come in.
Yeah, maybe it's for the fire department. Good evening. It is almost 7:20. Council is exiting executive session. We discussed 4 items: Courthouse Square project for legal advice. Action will be taken on that discussion this evening. Talked about legal advice and an update on Liberty Village project and legal advice on that. Possible negotiations on land acquisition, no action, and a personnel matter that will have action taken this evening. And we'll sit in adjournment until 7:30. Thank you.
All right, you're live.
Good evening. Today is May 9th, 2022. This is the regular meeting of the Mayor and Common Council, Borough of Flemington. This meeting is being called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of May 9th, 2022 was included in a list of meetings notice sent to the Hunterdon County Democrat and Courier News on January 5th, 2022, posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall on that date, and has remained continuously posted as required. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the Borough Clerk. Sally, if you would take us to the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now you
Mayor Driver,
here.
Ms. Hand was here earlier and had to leave.
Here's a family emergency.
Mr. Johnston?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Parker?
Here.
Ms. Rossetti?
Here.
Ms. Tilly?
Here.
All right,
Okay, first up is a mayor's report, and it's very short this evening. Tony Parker, as you know, joined us on council as Caitlin Giles McCormick's replacement. He was voted in by his fellow council members a couple meetings ago. I finally assigned, given him some assignments. He'll be on the Public Works Committee, as well as the Agri Redevelopment Committee. And as I mentioned 4 weeks ago, he did move up to the class 2 on the planning board seat. He'll also be working with Council President Jeremy Long on the Civics Committee that Jeremy's working on to increase citizen participation in government here in Flemington Borough, as well as committees and other volunteer operations. Liberty Village meetings are continuing working on the redevelopment agreement on that, as well as Courthouse Square. I want to make note that if you are one of the folks who parks in the lots behind the police station in 90-100 Main Street, that lot was a formerly public lot. At some time in the very near future, as they get ready to put those footings in, that lot is going to be fenced off. And if you are a daytime parker there or a nighttime parker of your vehicle, you will need to find a new place to park. I recommend the county lot across the street next to the Red Vanilla building. So that you don't show up one day and panic because you see a fence around that lot. But that will be happening sooner rather than later. I noticed today they're recording.
They told us May 12th today.
What?
They told us the 12th today.
The 12th, okay, thank you. I didn't go and pull any of the tapes off the wire, so. And that's all I have this evening, one of my shorter things. We'll begin with Councilman Malik Johnston.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. I have nothing to report this week.
Excellent, we'll go next to Councilwoman Elizabeth Rossetti.
Thank you, Mayor. I had spoken with Dave Giuliani, our property maintenance code enforcement officer. Things are going well around the borough with removal of signs that are not supposed to be posted. Also reminders about sidewalk repairs coming up this spring now that the weather has improved, and he's keeping on top of a overcrowding situation at an automobile shop. Beyond that, my big thing to report on was our successful community cleanup day that happened on May 1st. Last weekend. We had a great day. I would like to thank the volunteers of Raritan Valley Habitat for Humanities for sending so many people to help us brighten up the borough, as well as all the community members, people from throughout the county who attended to help, and ShopRite of Flemington for supplying our refreshments and sandwiches for our volunteers. We successfully cleaned up quite a large sum of trash, and I'm happy to report that it was a good day. That's it.
Okay, that was an incredible turnout. Congratulations on that. It was really quite impressive to see how many people were out, and then how many people were out as I saw them around town as well.
Yes, thank you. And I would like to extend my appreciation to Councilwoman Jess Hand. I know she's not here at the moment, but she was excellent at helping organize the event. So thank you.
Next up, we'll go to Councilman Tony Parker.
I have nothing right now.
Yeah, that's okay. We gave you those assignments. So
Yeah, that's what I
got. Next up is Councilwoman Kim Tilly.
So I have a short report as well. We did attend a couple of Liberty Village redevelopment meetings. I finalized had the last CERT training day, received my certificate, and looking forward to being able to continue my service to the borough through the CERT team. Upcoming, I have fire officer meeting tomorrow night, DPW next Tuesday, and HPC the Wednesday after. That's it.
Okay, thank you. And next up, Jeremy Long, Council President Long.
Thank you, Mayor. Two things, I've got the police business and FCP. As far as the police department, on Saturday, April 30th, for DEA National Take Back, the department collected approximately 40 pounds of unused or unwanted medication. There's a drop-off box at the police station year-round, and they will always be collecting unused or unwanted medications, but just know they do not accept needles, liquids, or inhalers. There's been an increase in DWI arrests. The department has seen 3 in the last 2 weeks. Just a reminder, the BAC, blood alcohol content in New Jersey is 0.08%. And they want to remind us all that buzz driving is drunk driving. Had a vehicle theft reported on May 5th, though through the investigation, the department was aware of who took the vehicle, so there's no need for public alarm. However, the police department encourages everyone to lock their vehicles and keep valuables out of sight. Do not be a victim of opportunity. FCP is pleased to report that they have more events in the borough this spring and summer than they've had in years. And most have been posted on the Love Flemington website, that's loveflemington.com, which they hope everyone uses, so the calendar is there. Borough businesses and nonprofits can submit events to the website 24/7 using submit an event form. They have several new businesses opening this weekend with ribbon cuttings, namely one is DIY reopening at Stangle. That will be at 11 a.m. Again, this weekend, this Saturday. It's an all-day celebration from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Pure Bar Flemington is opening shops of Flemington at 2 p.m. All are welcome. Fat Farm Antiques recently bought 134 Main Street from Rich Cornelison and is open for business in the barn and first floor, and will have a grand opening event soon. Businesses are also filling up the tent at the lawn at Stangle with free workshops and classes for residents, visitors, and students. Classes will be taught by faculty from Honor Yoga, Be Here Now, Club Pilates, Pure Bar Flemington, Evolution Pilates, and New Jersey Acupuncture. Schedule to be found on loveflemington.com, and classes will begin late May and early June. FCP scheduling a walk audit of the south side of Flemington with Go Hunterdon as per the NPP grant that was received, and we'll keep everyone posted on the exact dates, and that's happening in June. We hope to have a few reps from council, business community, and residents join us in this audit to help improve walkability. The FCP is planning a stakeholders event for the evening of 6/6 and will send more info this weekend. They plan to introduce the new marketing firm, a new staff, and short presentations of their new tourism effort and updates on various development projects, and that is my report.
Thank you. That brings us to our first public comment session. If you were here watching us on Zoom, we don't have any members of the public in Borough Hall. You can raise your hand using the raise hand icon. It's either at the bottom of your screen or the top of your screen, depending upon your operating system. I don't see anybody calling in, so we don't have to go through the *9, *6. So we'll give that a moment just to see if anyone has any comments. There's a hand. We have somebody right here.
Are you using the mouse?
I should probably do it up there, hang on.
Good.
I've lost
Is the
my
mouse on?
There you go.
There it is.
Can you bring them up, Ryan?
Yep, I got him. He should just have to,
Allowed to talk.
he's coming in.
There we go.
Hello, Aaron Sked. Please let us know where you're at for the record and your full name.
My name is Aaron Sked and I reside at 5 Academy Street.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right, doing all right. So I just had a question about this because I've never been to a council meeting before.
Uh-huh.
I was working with Mike Campion and he suggested that I come to talk about something to be done. Is this the time and place to do that, or?
Absolutely, and then if it needs follow-up, somebody would reach out additionally to you.
Okay, all right, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that way I wasn't wasting nobody's time.
No, this is your time, no waste.
All right, get 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Sked, and I'd like to address an ongoing issue that my family and my neighbors are currently dealing with and request assistance from the borough in remedying the problem. On September 1st, 2021, Hurricane Ida hit Flemington Borough with rainfall exceeding 10 inches total. Our house on Academy Street took on over 5 feet of water in the basement. This was a common enough story for many residents of our town. Where our story differs from many others is that this was the 3rd time in 6 weeks our basement flooded in this manner. You see, behind our house, 2 lots over, there's an outlet for a culvert. During rainstorms, this overflow fills up with water and makes its way to a drain that sits directly between mine and my neighbor's properties. However, over the past 2 to 3 years, water has continued to rise and collect more in our backyards, causing them to flood routinely, even during late rainstorms. Eventually, 2 years ago, we had water flow through our Bilco doors into our basement. That first time, the water only flooded an inch or two in the corner of the basement before the rainfall abated and the flood receded. We chalked it up to the heavy rainstorms that had been occurring recently and thought it was a one-time thing. We were wrong. On July 17th of 2021, flood water rushed into our basement again. Only this time it did not stop or recede before our entire basement was under 3.5 feet of water. On August 21st, we flooded again, and 10 days later during Ida, we flooded for a third time. All told, we've had to have our basement professionally cleaned, replace various appliances multiple times. We've lost many expensive tools and other items of both monetary and sentimental values. The financial burden this has placed on my family is astronomical, as you can imagine, also making it impossible for us to move, even if we wanted to. We've added a French drain system in our basement and upgraded our sump pumps. We've also replaced our basement door and purchased the floodgate. We've worked with Corporal Brian McNally to identify the drainage problem and found out that the drain directly behind our house has become completely clogged. This drain runs on an easement that goes directly under our neighbor's garage. Because of this, Corporal McNally has informed us that Flemington Public Works will need to fix the issue, and we are now working with Mike Campion on this. He's the one that suggested I come and speak here. I'm here asking that any permits or work needed to be done could be expedited as much as possible and for funding on this project to be approved. My wife and I love living here. This community is an amazing place to raise our daughter, and the people we've gotten to meet while living here are amazing. We cannot, however, continue to live in fear of flooding. Even a light spring rain causes our backyard to flood and our anxiety to rise. Please help us fix this issue. Thank you.
Excellent. So, yeah, so Brian, thank you, Aaron. So Brian, just so you know, is our OEM, so he was helping out with some of that immediate needs on the flooding. I am aware of what's going on there, and in fact, the day after I was sending photos over to our Public Works about that and our then engineer. So that is, the engineer's been out there, and it will likely be discussed at the next Public Works meeting. And then come before council once we find a solution. I'm waiting for the engineer to get back, and I think that they're doing a title search. Tara, help me out here, because I know you were part of that conversation as well. Was there a title search and they determined that that culvert was the boroughs? So we're trying to figure out, but it's actually actively being studied right now. And hopefully, I wish I could say we'll fix it next week, but unfortunately bureaucracy doesn't move that fast.
No, I completely understand. I just, needed to get it out there and also offer, if there's any way we can help in expediting it, we'd be more than willing to put in some work.
Okay. Have you met with the engineer? Has he been out there? We're kind of going over at 3 minutes, and I can call you offline later this week too, or have you met with him? Has he been out there?
My wife has. I have not spoken to him directly,
Okay.
but he has come out and my wife has taken off work to speak with him.
So it is quite high, probably at the top of the issues list. So
Okay.
we're also looking to do just a full rehab of that street as well, which would be sidewalk, sewer, and water line underneath as well. And that may help it, and that will probably also tie in with that culvert. So we are aware of that issue, and hopefully and trying to prioritize it for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other comments? You can move. So, no, you don't want to remove them.
There's no option to send them
yeah.
back to panelists.
Yeah.
if you need me to, I can just rejoin.
Yeah, that might be easy. Well, no, because if we remove him, you might not be able to rejoin the same meeting. I
Hey.
have it here.
He's good.
Okay. Okay, any other comments from the public? Yeah, we lost him. Maybe he hung. No, he's still there.
Yeah, I just changed him to attendee. He's good.
Yeah, okay, now you're back. Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
I don't think you're on panelists, not attendees.
That's,
I am.
oh, you are.
Oh,
I
you
look
are.
at panelists or attendees to see if anyone raises their hand. I'm not seeing any other hands go up, so we will move on to the next item on the agenda. That would be approval of the minutes of the April 25th, 2022 regular council meeting.
Tilly will move.
Long second.
Okay, Ms. Hand is not here. Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
Alrighty, that's approved.
Excellent. That brings us to the consent agenda. First up are two items. I'm just gonna read what they are, just so you know. First one is authorizing the municipal budget for the year 2022 to be read by title. That keeps us from having to read it line by line. And then a resolution in support of DIY. If we could have a motion?
Johnson will move.
Tilly will second.
Alright, Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
Alright, it's adopted.
Okay, that brings us to our first item on the regular agenda, resolution 2022-122. Authorizing the issuance of a non-recourse redevelopment area bond for the borough of Flemington in the county of Huntington, New Jersey. In a principal amount of $300,000. If we could have a motion?
Long move.
Tilly will second.
Andy Brewer, can you give us the 30-second Cliff Notes version as to what this is for the benefit of the public?
Yes, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. This was part of the Flemington Center Urban Renewal or Courthouse Square project. Part of the financing for that project as a pilot, what's called a pilot, payment in lieu of taxes or a financial agreement. And there are two components really to that. One, there's also a RAB, which is a redevelopment area bond. Some of the financing for that project will be through the issuance of a bond that's in the name of Flemington, but not, Flemington does not stand behind it. When you said non-recourse, that means that Flemington is not obligated to pay the bond. The repayment of the bond comes from the annual service charges, which is the payment in lieu of taxes. So this is really a financial, it's a funding source for the Flemington Center Urban Renewal Project. But once again, non-recourse, it is not the town's money.
Any questions or comments from council? Sally, go ahead and call the vote.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
Alright, that's approved.
Next up is our budget. This is a public hearing for the budget. It's resolution 2022-95, adopting the 2022 municipal budget of the borough of Flemington. We could have a motion to open the public hearing.
Tilly will move.
Long second.
Sorry. Alright, Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is open at 7:52 PM.
If you are attending and have a comment on the budget, please raise your hand. While we're waiting for that to happen, I'm gonna go through just a couple of items. House values went up significantly over the past year. Average value in the borough of an average home is $296,000, $296,266. Average house will pay $2,975.72 in municipal taxes. Tax amount per $100,000 value is $1,004.41. This is a decrease in the rate, in the tax rate from last year. It was $1,008 and some change last year, and it went down $4 per 100,000. Total assessed value of the borough is up $28,149,520 to $497,614,920. As I said, this is a great cut from what we had last year. Unfortunately, just being, totally transparent, most people will see an increase in taxes. That increase is due not to the taxes going up, but due to the value of your home going up. That is good for you, it's good for your neighbors, and it's good for the community as well, and real estate values go up. Bill, I don't have it in front of me, and you also mentioned that we have the highest surplus.
Yes, our surplus right now is 624,000. We had a little bit more last year. We had 847,000 last year, but we're projecting it to stay pretty much about the same by the end of this year with our revenues and what we expect to cancel as far as appropriations from the prior year. But yeah, the surplus hasn't really been this good in years. I mean, it was just in 2015 that we had $30,000 in surplus. So.
Liz, are you able to hear that?
Yes.
Okay, great, so that means the public can hear it. So that's great.
I'm not seeing any hands.
I'm not seeing any hands either. Can we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Tilly will move.
Long will second.
All right, Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing is closed at 7:55 PM.
Can we have a motion to adopt the 2022 municipal budget for the borough of Flemington under cover of resolution 2022-95?
Tilly will move.
Long will second.
Is there any comments? While we're waiting, I'd like to thank all of the council members for giving up their Thursday nights throughout the coldest nights of February and early March to get this budget into place. Although we did it on Zoom, that I know it's a lot of work, so I appreciate it. Bill, thank you as well for your fine pencil sharpening. That makes the budget work. Any questions before I would call the vote? Sally, go ahead and call the vote.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
All right, the budget is approved.
Excellent. Next up is resolution 2022-123, authorizing the closure of certain streets for the Memorial Day Parade, May 30th, 2022.
Here, here.
Tilly will move.
Long will second.
Ms. Tilly, thank you for your helping out to make this happen this year.
I tried.
Okay.
I tried to help.
No. Any other questions, comments?
No, besides, I'm sure the community's gonna be happy to see this again happening, and that's pretty much just it. That's it.
For an absence of 2 years.
Mhm.
Sally, go ahead and call the vote.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly.
Yes.
All righty, it's approved.
Next up is resolution 2022-124, it breaks my heart. Accepting the retirement of Borough Clerk Sally Graziano effective August 1st, 2022, and authorizing the search for a replacement. Sorry, you
No
can't.
one's moving.
Tilly will move.
Long will second.
Sally, we're gonna miss you, but we have you for 3 more months. so
I've given you lots of time.
June, July, 2.5 months. We'll keep you busy over that.
Yeah, you will.
Any other comments, questions?
Thank you for all your hard work.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been an
Thank you for
absolute
all your
pleasure to work.
Yeah, thanks
We will
for
miss you immensely.
We're family here.
so helpful. Really very, very helpful. To me personally.
You will be missed.
Thank you.
I'll make a note too before we vote. The replacement will be, we're gonna try and search for a clerk administrator, so we're gonna grow that position a little bit. Go ahead and call the vote.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes, unfortunately.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly,
Yes,
thank you.
enjoy, Sally.
Next up is resolution 2022-125, authorizing phase 1 of the updated sign plans regarding parking signs.
Tilly will move.
Long a second.
So as you may recall, we did have sign samples here for the new parking signs that the FCP with the NPP stuff has been doing. I'm so happy to see that. As you know, as I mentioned previous, that was one of my to-dos 3 years ago, and then between COVID and then other stuff going on, it didn't happen. And I'd like to thank Robin and the FCP for picking this up and running with it. It's important. You know, a lot of people say we don't have enough parking in town. Part of the problem is we don't have enough parking signage in town, so this seeks to alleviate some of that. Robin and Jeremy, you may note that there was a slight edit to the item, to the resolution. The original resolution did have a whereas for wayfinding signs. I removed that whereas about the wayfinding signs and a stickler for resolutions at one topic. And we will address the resolution for the wayfinding sign replacement as that is ready to go. Any questions or comments? Sally, go ahead and call the vote.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly,
Yes.
all right, that's approved.
That brings us to our, how are we moving so quick here?
No, fine.
Brings us to our second public comment session. If you have a comment, you can raise your hand. The raise hand icon, which will be either at the bottom or top of your screen, depending upon your operating system. Seeing no hands go up, we'll move on past that. Do we have an attorney's report?
I have nothing to report other than I am sorry I could not be there tonight. I am recovering from a bad cold and still have a terrible cough, and I'm afraid I would have just been disruptive to the meeting.
A motion to pay some bills?
Tilly will move.
Long a second.
Call the vote.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Rosetti,
Yes.
Ms. Tilly,
Yes.
all right, bills will get paid.
Do we have a reason to go into another executive session?
No, I think we handled everything at the beginning.
We did have an executive session earlier. Action was taken on two of those topics. I don't know if I mentioned them. I mentioned there's no mayor's comments.
Yes.
So that's that. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Tilly will move.
8:02.
Long a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. All right, we are adjourned. 8:02.
That's gotta be a record.